Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast, the daily show all about Nintendo and friendship. Tonight, we're diving into the news. It is the eve of Halloween's Eve. It's the day before Halloween, and we are in costume to bring you some Nintendo news. Micah, are you ready to jump into the news?
Yep.
Greetings, fellow Nintendo pals. It's a Luigi in Mario Kart. I couldn't find my Mario hat. We have masks for all the characters. I found Wario, Waluigi, Luigi, Daisy. I found literally every other character but Mario. Mario has up and vanished. So Luigi gets his cart today. That's my
Luigi's
costume.
time to shine.
Micah, what have you got there?
I'm a lumberjack. Obviously.
Are you okay? Do you sleep all night and work all day?
Yeah.
Have you heard that song?
No, I have not heard that song.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I think that's a Monty Python sketch. I'm not 100% sure. But speaking of not 100% sure, you know what I'm not 100% sure of? If you've left us a 5-star review, maybe you should do that. In fact, no maybes about it. You should do that. Leave us a 5-star review. Look at us. We embarrass ourselves on the internet please, by wearing goofy costumes. I guess
Goofy?
You're not.
You're offending lumberjacks everywhere.
Okay, well, I don't have a comeback for that. I'm sorry, lumberjacks. I just gave up. I'm not even gonna try and fight on this one. But you know what? Please leave us a 5-star review anyways. You can be awesome like the fantastic folks that have left us 5-star reviews over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, and Audible. And we got a brand new 5-star review just this month. It says, this one's from Everett W. Keller. Thank you for the 5-star review, Everett. It says, 5 stars. It's good, meaning our podcast. It's good. I'm excited for Mario Bros. Wonder. It's a nice podcast if you're interested in Nintendo. And then a little statue of an Easter Island head emoji. Pretty great. Pretty great. Shout out to you, Everett, for being awesome. Thank you to all of the fantastic people who have left us 5-star reviews. Yeah. I don't know if we read this one out from Elm2322. I'll give you a shout out here too. It's titled "Me Sick," and then the review says, "I'm sick." Sorry to hear that, Elm. Hopefully you're feeling better.
It's a bummer.
And you know what? You know what else is sick? This show. Let's go. We're sick here, man. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. All right, let's jump into the news, my guy. I've made a fool of myself for long enough. It's been a full 3 minutes. We've got some news to cover this week. So first off, I'm gonna start with the lighter lighter news, or I'll have you start with the lighter news, Micah, with our second news item. You want to do that?
Mario Party 3 originally for the N64 is out now on the NSO online. I guess you'll need the online expansion pack.
Yes. So Mario
Every
Party...
time I say NSO, I want to add online at the end. And I know I shouldn't.
Yeah, but this completes the original trilogy available on NSO. So that's pretty exciting. And they prominently featured Waluigi in the trailer for this for some reason. Which, is this his first appearance? That might be why. This might be Waluigi's first appearance in the Mario Party franchise, where
He's
he
trying
is
to
now.
appease all the Smash fans that
Yeah,
wanted Waluigi.
yeah. Well, speaking of appeasing all the Smash fans, guess what Nintendo didn't do this week? Let's jump into the next news item here, because this is the big one. This is what we're going to be talking most about. Nintendo has announced new Smash Bros. Tournament guidelines, and these do apply to Japan, Europe, and Nintendo of America. So for like most of their largest audiences, and I assume this applies just everywhere at that point. Like okay, these are the guidelines, and here they are. And the community guidelines were met with some backlash. But let's just go through these. Let's go through these, and because you and I both haven't really looked at these super thoroughly. So yeah, coming through the points here. The first bolded point is that the community tournament is small scale and not for commercial profit. So they cannot generate commercial revenue except as permitted by these guidelines. So they're not allowed to make profit on tournaments are not allowed to make profit, which is odd. I guess people will do it just for the passion of the game. I know people will do it just for the passion of the game, but it's like, why not let those people also make money doing it? I don't quite. Is there like a legal issue with that? I don't.
I don't understand why.
Okay. Well, you want to let's alternate here. What's the next bolded point?
Like, I think we're looking at different things.
Are we? Community tournament guidelines with Nintendo customer support. The link in.
Nope. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking at.
Oh, shoot!
I'm on like the Smash Wiki.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's gonna be unbiased. I'm looking directly at the community guidelines here. I'll send you a link in the chat here, and I'll read the next point. The next one is the tournament may use Nintendo game footage or images under the following conditions. Organizers may show footage of the tournament gameplay at in-person community tournament venues, and organizers may capture footage or screenshots of Nintendo games for any announcement materials of the community tournament, so long as the game has officially launched. So, no hosting tournaments for games that are not officially launched. That's good. Because this next point is kind of contrary to that, I think. Are you seeing it now?
The community tournament is not affiliated with Nintendo and makes no use of Nintendo trademarks or IP except as permitted by these guidelines.
Yeah. So, and then it lists the guidelines here. Don't present your community tournaments as official Nintendo things.
Or even endorsed by Nintendo.
The names of the tournaments may not contain Nintendo trademarks or IP, such as Nintendo's company name, logo, product, services names, or game titles names.
So you can't have like Smash Bros in the name of your tournament?
Yeah, it's like you can't say like, oh yeah, it's the community Smash tourney, like that. What are you supposed to call it now?
That one
fighting game. That one platforming fighting game tournament. Yeah. So that seems a little weird to me. This includes any shortened or modified uses of Nintendo trademarks or IP. So not even like acronyms. It's just, it seems excessive. But okay. The game. Next point here is the game used must have been officially launched or service has officially begun in the region where the community tournament is taking place. So no pirated or modified versions of Nintendo games may be used. And I was watching a YouTuber, Ludwig, talk about this, and he ran a Smash tournament, and he got into some legal tiff with Nintendo. They sent him not a cease and desist, but like the baby version of a cease and desist. And they were like, you cannot use modified versions of the game, which they used a modified version of the game to turn off stage hazards for Pokemon Stadium in Melee. And it ended up actually affecting their like final fight to have those on. But it was still cool. It's still hype. Oh, my cart's falling down.
It's a family show.
It's a family show. Next point. Hit us up there.
The organizer posts the following notices on site and on tournament websites and other promotional materials.
Nintendo is not a sponsor or affiliated with this tournament. Terms for participating in viewing community tournaments and Nintendo games are with the following URL, which is to this page that we're reading right now. So yeah, it's funny how much they care about not being affiliated with it and yet are asserting that it has to follow these rules. Does that feel weird to you? It feels weird to me. Now, Micah and I have not been involved in the Smash Bros. Competitive scene in any capacity. Have you ever gone to a community tournament? I've never been.
Nope.
Yeah, I know it's a big scene, but I've always been an outsider looking in. I am a fan of Smash Bros. I've been a fan since the first game. But so we're giving our perspective here as outsiders looking in that are just fans of the series, but they aren't involved in this scene in any way. This just feels weird. This feels like you are not affiliated with us. You better follow our rules. It's like, why do we have to follow your rules if you're not affiliated? I don't quite get that. And then there are additional stipulations here, including that that everything has to be legal. You have to comply with applicable laws. You have to ensure health and safety of participants and spectators to the best of your ability. You make full efforts to create a tournament that is friendly and welcoming to all and respects the dignity of participants. Inclusiveness and also no prejudice or harassment or any of that kind of stuff.
I do like how it says organizers will make sure that participants and spectators are of age according to the applicable age rating of the game used in the tournament.
Wait. Okay. All right. So what is Melee rated? Isn't it E?
It's just like, yeah, it's
might be E10.
I think.
Might be E10, maybe.
So it stinks if you're like an 8-year-old potentially who's super good.
Yeah. That's a little weird, but okay.
This seems like it. I mean, this is like applicable for not just Smash Brothers tournaments.
Yeah. So. Is it?
And some of the wording makes it seem that way.
I guess this is, it's all community tournament guidelines. Okay. And then no gambling for, I think, obvious reasons. And you get permission to use rights of any third party, anything. So other IP holders, not just Nintendo. Like, hey, we don't want to get in trouble because you guys mixed our stuff with other people's stuff. Kind of covering their bases there, I guess. So yeah, those are the guidelines. And we didn't dive into them super deep because it's pretty long. We'll put a link to it in the description of the episode for anybody that's interested in reading more. But there are a lot of FAQs. That's like the rest of this page. So what like a quarter of the page is the guidelines, and then 3/4 are FAQs. Frequently asked questions, which they had before they even posted this, which is quite interesting. How do you have frequently asked questions for a thing that doesn't exist? But do any of these questions stand out to you as something we should look at?
The two I've read, no.
Yeah. Is it permitted to use Nintendo games or title character names in the names of the community tournament?
Let's go to that one. That's a pretty good
It
question.
is. It is not. So no. It's weird because like so you're promoting a community tournament for a game. You are not allowed to use the name of the game in the promotion. How are you supposed to promote something that you can't talk about? Like I wonder what like is the recommended route for going here. Are they just trying to make this impossible to do? Because that's sort of what it feels like. We didn't hit up on the size of tournaments. Where was that in the guidelines?
Yeah, that was at the first bulletin thing, or yeah, the community term is small scale and not for commercial profit.
Yeah,
Or they may include up to 200 participants for in-game or in-person tournaments and up to 300 for online tournaments. I feel like a lot of these rules like kind of make sense to me,
yeah.
but like limiting the size and entry fees have to be less than $20 per person.
Yeah,
You can only have up to
that's real
5,000,
specific and weird. Okay,
only up to $5,000 for like
for
prizes,
prizes.
or 10,000 for a year.
I is there some like I have to imagine there's some law that they're trying to appease here, where they're like, oh, we don't want to get in trouble for you guys making too much money off of these, so that we get in trouble. Like I don't quite get it. It's
Yeah,
it's there's not really anything else to compare it to, you know? Where there's like a big tournament of some kind. Maybe like Comic-Con? It's like that's a big event, but you don't see like Marvel and DC going like these are the rules that you guys have to follow in order to use any Comic-Con stuff. Like like maybe that's a comparison we could make here. I'm just trying to wrap my brain around this because they're treating it like it's like they're a sports association that owns this sport when it's just a product that people can buy and use. I and that's where it feels weird to me for them to regulate it in any capacity. It's like these people bought the game; they can do whatever the heck they want with the game.
but can they legally? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and I am also like very keenly aware that Nintendo is extremely protective of their IP, and their and just are super hammer happy. They'll be banning everything that they can. But it just feels specifically directed to Smash Bros, which is by far the biggest tournament community scene for Nintendo games, at least in the United States. Um, besides maybe Pokemon, but that's they have their own whole thing with the Pokemon company. And there's not really like an official alternative to this because Nintendo doesn't host like any sort of official Smash Bros scene.
Yeah,
They tried, right? Weren't they partnering with that one company and then then came out that I don't even remember the name of the company. But was it Panda? Was it
I
Panda
remember
Global?
there's
It was
Panda for something,
Yeah, it was
but I
Panda
don't
Global.
remember as that or something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. I think it was Panda Global. It was like they were gonna be doing like partnered with Nintendo official tournaments, and then that got completely closed down due to backlash. I don't think that's been rescheduled, reformatted. So what I'm saying here is like they're just doing a whole bunch of you can't do this and not offering any you can do this. You know what I mean? It would be one thing if these community tournaments were competing directly with Nintendo's official tournaments, but there isn't Nintendo official tournaments. and the scene wouldn't exist without the original community being there. Maybe Nintendo has plans to make it more official, and that's why they're going about it, but it's like you're starting this backwards. Get your official stuff working, and then go, okay, since we have official forms of this, we don't want these community things doing it. But any way you spin it, who cares? Like, why? Why does it matter? Why does Nintendo care so much? Do you have any thoughts on this? Like, why is Nintendo doing this at all?
Why not?
What do you mean, why not? I just don't understand why they would need to be so into what the community is doing with a game, especially when it's like, I'm not going to say not supported, but none of those games are actively being developed for. It's not like League of Legends or Fortnite or Counter-Strike. It's not like these games that are like actively being developed for and have like official means of tournaments. Like League of Legends is built around the esports scene for League of Legends. Nintendo hasn't done that for Smash Bros. So why do they care so much that other people make that a thing? I don't get it. And I'm of the mind, I don't know if this is of the legal ramifications of this, but I'm of the mind that like people bought the game, they should be able to play it how they want, where they want, and who they want to play it with. Like I just don't think that should matter. I don't think Nintendo should be involved. Is that a hot take? I don't know. I feel like
Probably not.
I feel like that's a pretty
I think a lot of people would agree with that.
I feel like it's a pretty sane way to look at it. But we'd love to hear your thoughts out there. Hit us up in the comments. What's the deal? Why is it like this? And what's going to happen to the scene? Some people are up in arms. Other people are like, this could still work. We just have to go through the proper channels, maybe. There's a lot of unknowns. And at the end of the day, Nintendo put in the line. Very end of the guidelines. In addition, Nintendo games may not be used for Nintendo games may not be used for community tournaments that are illegal or inappropriate, fail to protect the health and safety of participants, have sponsors. So you can't have sponsors or advertisers, which I think is like a big deal for having prize pools and stuff. Fail to follow these guidelines, and the last line. Nintendo games may not be used for community tournaments that involve anything that Nintendo deems inappropriate. That's just a wild card. They could just say, nah, don't like it. You guys can't do it. So at the end of the day, these guidelines are just like, what is the point of all of this if you're just going to have a little clause that's like, if we don't like it. And
well, you gotta add that in case people are doing weird things that you don't like.
That you didn't
specifically mention.
I guess that's fair. And then at the end of the day, how are they going to enforce this? Like legitimately.
You don't want to know.
Are they going to send the ninjas? They're going to send the Nintendo ninjas after people? I just feel like so many community tournaments are at such a small scale and are so like they're local that and then the big ones are probably already going to be trying to go through the correct avenues, you know? So I feel like there's not really a way Nintendo can enforce this. So, yeah, I just think this whole thing's kind of pointless and crazy. That's my final thoughts. This was, like, kind of too much. But let us know what you guys think. Micah, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitch at Micah Prime.
And you can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Andros1. And you can also follow the show, Nintendo Pals, on all the platforms. So yeah, thanks to everybody for all the support you give us, and we will close with a shout out and a thank you to our fantastic supporters over on Patreon, where for as little as $1 you can be a part of the Patreon Poke Rap that we close every episode with, and we will close this episode with right now.
We gotta rap some Patreon.
You just do the singing. I'll take care of the hard part.
Let's get it on.
We want to be the best that ever was. And shout out our pals over on Patreon.
LPD, Rizzo, Retro Logic Dan, Tim the Nintendo Dash, Slim, Tor, Spider Chan, Solo something, Mute Dog the Gamer, Little Miss 7, and Monkey Thunder.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon.
Kid, Fiasco, Third Strongest Mole, Fedorable, Will, All, and Seth Sturgill, Cosmic, Purple, Leotis, That Fast John, and Mother Plays too.
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon. Let's get 150 or more, yeah, please. To be a Patreon donor is your destiny.
Thank you all so much for listening, and we will talk to you next episode on Halloween. Bye-bye.